I met Jeffrey Katzenberg and Brian Adams at the An Animation promotional event they were involved with. I live in a small East Coast town where a ton of movie and show filming has been done over the years. So it's not unlikely to run into celebrities here and there. The absolute worst has been Tig Notaro. Several occasions she has horribly berated servers and restaurant staff to the point of tears. Usually for the most menial things. On the other hand, most have been kind and gracious. Robert Downey Jr. particularly. Since filming Iron Man here, he comes back regularly and spends tons of money at small local businesses and always has time for his fans. Elon Musk. Interviewed with him in 2003 at the Peninsula Hotel. Was only interviewing to show his then unbelievably amazing assistant that there were people available to take her place. He didn't end up hiring anyone, and years later, when he did fire her, it took 3 people to take her place barely. Did not, fortunately, get the job. Was hired by Arnold, and later by Ellen's equally psychopathic cousins, Lyndon and Peter, at SolarCity. Family dynamics were insane. They all seriously mentally ill. Ricky Schroeder. Met him at the first Bush Young Americans, Really Young Republicans inaugural ball. He was completely drunk and tried to get my friends and I too go up to his hotel room for blow-in jobs. Wink wink. We were trying to politely laugh it off, but he was very persistent. When we finally had to say a firm no, he made a face and said guess I'll find some good-looking girls instead and slunk off. Just for context, one of my friends was homecoming queen for our university. Pre-Big Bang Theory, I met Johnny Galecki at a Magic, the Gathering weekly game at a small bookstore at the mall. Nobody recognized him, I did, since he was David on Roseanne, and I was cool enough not to bring it up. He liked me but didn't have a deck. I offered him one of my extra decks, but as I was a poor 14-year-old, it wasn't amazing. After 3,000 used to come get to go food at a late-night restaurant where I worked in Atlanta. One of the most chilled-down to-earth guys ever. He loved to talk about all kinds of music and treated everyone with respect. The worst Sybil Shepherd was the most self-righteous celebrity I ever had the misfortune of serving. Hope she is having the life she deserves. Figured this was an interesting story to share here. This happened to my mother years ago. One day, she was walking down a street in Nick, saw some commotion and saw Muhammad Ali. This was in the early 70s, and my mom didn't really pay attention to a lot of what happened with him. She said, "Hey look, it's Cassius Clay," while not realizing he had changed his name years before that. Ted Nugent, except didn't really meet him. Back in the early 90s, Damn Yankees was filming a music video outside of New Orleans. The local radio show gave away a chance to meet the band and watch the filming of the video. I had the displeasure of meeting him personally, but I know 2 people who've met Jared Leto. One is my colleague's mother, who's a flight attendant. She's worked with a lot of celebrities flying first class and says he's the worst person she's ever met. The other is a friend who worked with 30 Seconds to Mars and said he demanded one green room for himself and a second one for his hot tub. He also insisted that he shouldn't have to see any of the staff. Everyone had to leave the corridors when he walked by. Well, have a positive one. Sean William Scott. I had just moved to California and wanted to do the drive, so I headed up to Malibu. I stopped at a Chevron to get a snack, and he was in front of me in line. He was the first celeb I had seen, and he was making jokes with the cashier, shooting the shit. He bought a 24 Oz and some scratch-offs. When we got outside, and he was getting into his Jeep with his beautiful golden retriever in it, I yelled at him, "Hey. Love your work. Can't wait for your next project." He looks up with a smile and yelled back thanks. As I'm getting into my car, he drives in front of me and gives me and Mike a wave with a genuine big smile, then driving off gave me a little beep beep with his horn. I was like, man, he's one of us. Back in the 1980s, I encountered Jack Lord, star of Hawaii Five-0. He was wearing a cape and carried a walking stick which he used to boss around his entourage. Jerry Lewis. I was a nurse on the oncology unit of the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in 1984. We were used two celebrities coming through for photo ops or just visit. Jerry came to the hospital but would not come to the unit. He wanted me to bring my immunocompromised patients to the lobby where he had photographers and local TV waiting to film him meeting the kids. I said fuck no. To Mr. T also came around the same time. Peak a team fame, but he came without an entourage or photographers. He went to every room and stayed as long as every kid wanted. He was wonderful to everyone, staff and families as well. Frank Zappa. My friend and I were only 15, and he wanted us to get in his car. As a tonic to all the awful celebs mentioned, when me and my family first moved to La, we were waiting at an ATM. Ray Liotta crouched down next to our son, who was 7 at the time, and chatted to him about what had been doing for the holidays and what Christmas presents had received. He had quite a looming presence, but was the kindest gentleman. It was a perfect welcome to La. Rip Ray Liotta.